Hi folks, I'm criminal defense attorney Andrew Siegel of Siegel & Siegel. Today what we're going to talk about is domestic violence, suffocation, and strangulation cases. These are cases obviously where somebody is accused of not only the crime of domestic violence, but where it is said that they accomplished the crime either by suffocating or asphyxiating or strangling the other person. It is a felony offense. Now let's talk about in any domestic violence case, what they're saying is that the crime occurred against a family member, somebody who you're living under the same roof with, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, child, something of that effect. So, how do you defend these kind of cases? In my mind, there are three basic categories of this type of charge. The first one is where there are what I call willful false allegations of this. And that's a situation where somebody just simply makes it up. You have a boyfriend-girlfriend fighting. The girlfriend gets mad. She says, I'm going to get even with you. She calls the police and says, Johnny, he was strangling me. And poor Johnny gets dragged off to jail even though he didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes you'll have cases, and here's a real-life case I had. Basically those facts. But my client was smart enough. What he did is he had his cell phone, and he was videotaping it, and the girl scratched herself and hit herself, and he's like, don't do that, don't do that. And she's like, I'm putting you in jail, I'm putting you in jail. Well, she did put him in jail temporarily. We went to court. He had that little videotape, and the prosecutor's like, oh, he's guilty. Here, look at the videotape. And once the prosecutor saw the videotape, my client was okay, and the charges were dismissed. Now, it's not always that easy. Most of the time, we don't have such good evidence. And the way that the lawyer has to do it is by demonstrating through cross-examination that the witness is either lying or not worthy of belief or has some motive to fabricate. Sometimes you're successful with that and sometimes you're not. But that's what you're left with in a case where it's a false allegation, is you have to demonstrate that your client is not guilty based on that. Now there's another category, and those are what I would call semi-true allegations. And that's a situation where something happened, but it wasn't a suffocation strangulation case. Those come in frequently. For example, let's again use our couple, and the woman gets mad at the guy. She comes at him, she's swinging, she's hitting at him, and he puts his hand out to stop her. He puts his hand under her throat. He puts his hand so she can't get him. She says, oh, now I'm going to get you. She calls the police. She's got bruises, legitimate bruises, and she says, he was strangling me, and he gets hauled off to jail. Under those circumstances, the scenario I gave you, the fellow would have been acting reasonably in self-defense, but he still would have to defend against the case. Another very common situation is you'll have somebody where maybe again, using our unhappy couple, and the woman is screaming and yelling, and the guy says, look, you're causing a disturbance, you're bothering your neighbors, just look, shut up, he puts his hand over his mouth. We just shut up, stop. She goes, oh yeah, you tried to suffocate me. I'm calling the police and you're going to jail. And he does go to jail, and unless his lawyer is able to successfully defend it, he could wind up with a conviction for not having committed a crime, because he wasn't intentionally trying to do anything, he was just trying to have her be quiet. Now, there's another category, and those are the categories where it's true. So how do you defend when somebody really has committed the crime of domestic violence, suffocation, or strangulation? There's a number of ways. One way that some lawyers will try is to just argue that the facts aren't sufficient. The purpose of a trial, and the word verdict means to speak the truth, and at least in my view, if the truth is against you, you probably don't want to be arguing that. You want to have a different approach. Sometimes the very best approach on those kind of cases is not to have a trial, but for your client to admit that he did something wrong. Now that probably sounds counterintuitive, but it is not necessarily. In many situations, the court system and the prosecutors are pleased when somebody is willing to make efforts to try to correct the situation. And they will allow them to attend some sort of a counseling program. Often the result will be that if they successfully complete the program, the charges are dismissed. So that's another method that is used. A last method that is used is simply allowing time to pass. The criminal justice system, whether we like it or not, moves very, very slowly. I just finished a case today. It was 3.5 years old. A lot of stuff can happen during the time period it takes for a case to get to court. And so lawyers will sometimes use that to their advantage because witnesses, they move away, they forget, prosecutor loses their address, they just don't care about the case anymore. Other things have happened. And so that is sometimes a strategy. No matter what the circumstances are, if you or somebody you love is accused of domestic violence, you need to talk to an attorney, and you need to do so as quickly as you possibly can. Preferably, you should do it before you talk to anyone else. Oftentimes, law enforcement might want to interview someone. That's usually not a good idea. Again, you want to get with an attorney and talk to an attorney as quickly as you can. If you want to talk to us, give us a call. The phone number should be down below. Your first consultation with us is absolutely free. We don't believe in charging you to decide whether we want to take your case. And when you talk to us, and frankly, when you talk to any lawyer, the consultation you have with them is confidential, and that means they can't tell anyone. At any rate, I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative. If you'd like our help, give us a call. Thank you for watching.